The pain hit him like a freight train. Elias Vane staggered out of his SUV, the city's neon lights blurring into streaks. His chest clenched, breath vanished, and the ground tilted beneath him. He dropped hard to his knees in the middle of Greyford's busiest street. "Sir!" his bodyguards shouted, but their voices were muffled, drowned by the roar in his ears. Pedestrians froze. Some pointed, others raised their phones, recording the billionaire gasping like a drowning man. No one moved to help. Elias clawed at the air, panic flooding his veins. His empire had made him untouchable, but here he was, helpless, suffocating, alone. Then she appeared. A young woman pushed through the crowd, paint-stained fingers clutching a sketchbook. She dropped beside him, her voice sharp, commanding,
Safe.
"Look at me. You're not dying. It's panic. Breathe." Her hand pressed against his shoulder, grounding him. "In. Out. You're safe." The word cut through the storm. Safe. His lungs obeyed. Slowly, the world steadied. The bodyguard shoved her back, hauling Elias into the SUV. He tried to resist, his voice hoarse. "Wait, her name. Get her name." But the door slammed and she was gone. That night, Elias sat alone in his penthouse, replaying the moment. Her face, her voice, the way she hadn't flinched when everyone else had only stared. He whispered to himself, "Safe." He hadn't felt that in years. He called his assistant. "Find her." 3 days later, he had a name. Maya Cole, 26, street artist. Lives above a laundromat. No social media, no bank account, no clue who he was, and that was what he wanted. Only a few people could really recognize him. He was never seen in public and hardly appeared on papers, never seen on TV or talk shows. He was even nicknamed Ghost for being elusive, and for him, this was perfect. He was going to ghost his way into her life, and ghost his way he did. Elias dressed down in a hoodie, leaving behind the armor of wealth. He walked into the alley where she painted, walls alive with color. She was there, headphones in, brush moving across brick. "Nice work," he said. She turned, startled. "Thanks. I'm Eli." "Maya." They shook hands. Her grip was firm, her eyes curious but unimpressed. "You paint full-time?" he asked. She laughed. "I paint full survival. Murals, commissions, whatever pays rent." "I used to sketch," he said. "Really?" She raised a brow. "You don't look like the starving artist type." "I'm starving for something," he replied. She rolled her eyes. Cheesy. But she laughed, and the sound lit something inside him. They sat on the curb eating sandwiches from a paper bag. She showed him her sketchbook, rooftops, faces, dreams in pencil and paint. "You're good," he said. "I'm honest," she replied. "That's all I've got." He studied her. No calculation, no agenda, just truth. The next day he returned. She handed him a brush. His strokes were clumsy, uneven. She laughed. Not bad for a beginner. They painted side by side, colors bleeding into each other. Later, she led him to a rooftop. Rusted railings, cracked concrete, the city stretched out before them. "This is mine," Maya said. "My sanctuary." Elias looked around. "It's beautiful." "You're the first person to say that." "I mean it. You can see everything from here, the chaos, the beauty. It's honest." She tilted her head. "You talk like someone who's been lying for a long time." Elias swallowed hard. "Maybe I have." She didn't press. Instead, she sketched him under the neon glow. He spilled ramen on his hoodie. She laughed. For the first time in years, Elias felt peace. But peace was fragile. It was late, the alley quiet after a long day of painting. Maya had packed up her brushes and was leaning against the wall with a friend, a wiry man named Jonah who often stopped by to tease her about her murals. Elias lingered nearby, pretending to scroll his phone, but his ears caught every word. Jonah asked casually, "You ever think about leaving Greyford, starting fresh somewhere else?" Maya's laugh was bitter. "Leave? This city is all I have left. My family lost everything when Vane Industries bulldozed our block. My father's shop was gone overnight. He begged them to reconsider, but Elias Vane didn't care. He signed the papers, and that was it. My mother never recovered. She used to smile every day, Jonah. After that, she barely spoke. That company ruined us." Her voice cracked, anger simmering beneath every syllable. "Elias Vane is a monster. He destroys lives and calls it progress. I've never met him and don't even know what he looks like, but if I ever met him, I'd tell him exactly what he took from me." Jonah nodded, silent. Maya's eyes burned with fury, but Elias felt the words like knives. He froze, his breath shallow, his chest tight. She was talking about him, about decisions he had made years ago when expansion was all that mattered. He remembered the project instantly. Grayford Block 17, a cluster of old shops and apartments. His board had insisted it was the perfect site for a new headquarters. He had signed the order without hesitation. He hadn't thought about the families inside, hadn't thought about the ripple effect. And now, standing in the alley, he realized one of those families was hers. Elias stepped back into the shadows, guilt crashing over him. He wanted to confess, to tell her the truth, but the look in her eyes when she said monster stopped him cold. If she knew who he was, she would never laugh with him again, never hand him a brush, never let him sit on her rooftop. So he stayed silent. He wasn't Elias Vane here. He was Eli, the man she could love without the noise, without the scars. But as he walked home that night, her words echoed in his mind. That company ruined us. Elias Vane is a monster. And Elias knew. Secrets don't stay buried forever. Under the weight of the secret, Elias found himself restless. Nights blurred into mornings, his mind replaying Maya's laughter, her trust, her words about Vane Industries being a monster. Every time she smiled at him, guilt pressed harder against his chest. He had built his empire on ruthless expansion, and one of those decisions had crushed her family. Now he was living inside the lie, terrified of the moment it would shatter. One evening, Maya invited him to a community art fair. The alley was alive with music, lanterns strung between buildings, children running with painted faces. Elias kept his hood low, blending into the crowd. Maya's mural was the centerpiece, a sprawling skyline with bursts of color, hope painted into every corner. She turned to him, eyes shining. "This is what I live for. Not money, not fame, just this. People seeing beauty where they thought there was nothing." Elias nodded, but his throat tightened. He wanted to tell her the truth, but the words stuck. He feared that if he spoke, the light in her eyes would vanish. As the night wore on, Maya's friends gathered. One of them, a wiry man with sharp eyes, leaned close. "You look familiar," he said to Elias. "Ever been in the papers?" Elias forced a laugh. "I doubt it." Maya jumped in, teasing. "Don't start. He's Eli, not a celebrity or politician. Can you imagine? Eli as a celebrity. Please." The group laughed, but Elias felt the knife twist deeper. Later on the rooftop, Maya leaned against him, her voice soft. "You know, I used to dream about confronting Elias Vane, telling him what he did to us. I wanted him to see my father's empty shop, my mother's broken smile. I wanted him to feel the weight of what he destroyed." Elias's chest burned. He whispered, "And if you did?" She shrugged. "I'd tell him he can't buy forgiveness. Some things can't be fixed with money." Her words cut him to the bone. He turned away, hiding the storm in his eyes. Days later, a stranger passing through Grayford, camera slung around his neck, wandering into the alley where Maya painted. He stopped, mesmerized by the mural. A skyline exploding in color, shadows and light woven together with raw honesty. He snapped a photo, posted it online with a caption, "Hidden genius in Grayford. Who is she?" By morning, the post had spread. Blogs picked it up. Art forums debated her technique. Local news stations ran segments calling her the anonymous artist shaking the city. Maya woke to messages from strangers, her phone buzzing nonstop. She stared at the screen, stunned. "I don't understand," she whispered. "It's just a wall." Elias watched her, pride swelling in his chest. "It's not just a wall, it's you, and the world finally sees it." She laughed nervously, shaking her head. "They don't even know my name." "They will," Elias said softly. "They'll know you." For a few days, it felt like magic. Crowds gathered in the alley, snapping photos, leaving flowers, asking questions. Maya painted faster, her strokes bolder, as if the attention fueled her. Elias stood beside her, handing her brushes, wiping paint from her cheek, proud to be part of her world. But the internet is relentless. One night, a new photo surfaced. Grainy, zoomed in, sharpened by strangers online. It showed Maya painting, and beside her, a man in a hoodie, brush in hand. His face half-turned but recognizable. Is this Elias Vane, the ghost billionaire CEO? The speculation spread like wildfire. Forums exploded, headlines screamed, "Billionaire secretly painting in Grayford Alley? Elias Vane's unghosted and mystery companion revealed?" The internet exploded. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire in disguise? Elias Vane's secret life. Who is the woman beside him?" Elias's phone rang nonstop. His assistant panicked. "Sir, the board wants answers. Investors are nervous. They think you've lost focus." But Elias wasn't thinking about the board. He was thinking about Maya. He rushed to her flat. She was sitting on the floor surrounded by sketches and ramen cups, staring at her phone. "You're everywhere," he said. She looked up, eyes wide. "Mm-hmm." He hesitated. "There's something I need to tell you." She stood quickly. "Wait, before you do, I need to say something first." His heart pounded. "I think I'm falling in love with you," she said. "And I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you're broke or rich or whatever. I just care that you show up, that you see me." The words hit him like sunlight breaking through clouds. Elias's throat tightened, his chest aching with both joy and guilt. He wanted to hold her, to let the moment last forever. But the truth pressed against him, clawing at his conscience. He had hidden too much, and now her love made the lie feel heavier than ever. Just then, her phone buzzed. She glanced down, smiling faintly as she read the notification aloud. "Billionaire secretly painting in Grayford Alley? Elias Vane's mystery companion revealed?" Another buzz followed, harsher words flashing across the screen. "Gold digger, publicity stunt, fake." Maya laughed, shaking her head. "Why are people saying you're Elias Vane? That's ridiculous." She looked at him with amusing, her eyes playful. "I mean, you do look a little like him from the pictures compared, but that's because of the picture quality. You're Eli. Simply ridiculous," she said, amused. Her laughter cut him deeper than anger would have. She believed in him, believed in the version of himself he had created, and that belief made the guilt unbearable. He froze, the moment he had feared finally here. "Maya," he began, voice low, almost trembling, "I need to tell you something." Her eyes narrowed, suspicion flickering. "Tell me what?" He swallowed hard, the weight of years pressing against his chest. "I'm not just Eli. I'm Elias Vane." At first, she laughed, a quick burst of disbelief. "That's a terrible joke," she said, shaking her head. But then she saw his face. No smile, no hint of playfulness, only raw seriousness. The laughter died. Silence fell heavy between them. Maya's breath caught, disbelief flooding her face. "No, you're joking." Elias didn't move. The rooftop lights painted shadows across his features, and in that stillness, she realized he wasn't joking at all. And after a long stretch of silence, her voice cracked, trembling with fury. "You lied to me. You let me fall for someone who doesn't exist. You're the reason my family lost everything." Elias stepped forward, desperate. "Maya, listen. I didn't tell you because I knew how much you hated me. My company, my decisions, they destroyed your family. I heard you say it yourself. And I couldn't bear to lose what we had. I wanted to be someone you could love without the noise, without the scars." Her face hardened. "So you lied. You let me believe in Eli, when all along you were Elias Vane, the monster who bulldozed my father's shop, who ruined my mother's life." He swallowed hard, guilt suffocating him. "I was ruthless back then. I thought expansion meant survival. I didn't see the people behind the buildings. I didn't see you. And I regret it every day." Maya shook her head, pacing the rooftop. "You regret it now because you want me. But you didn't regret it when you signed the papers. You didn't regret it when families were thrown out. You didn't regret it when my father begged for help." Elias's chest tightened. "You're right. I was blind. I was selfish. But meeting you changed me. You made me see what I destroyed. You made me want to be better." Her tears fell, silent and heavy. "You don't understand. I trusted you. I let you in. And now, I don't know if I can believe anything you say." Before Elias could answer, her phone buzzed again. Headlines screamed across the screen. "Street artist exposed as Elias Vane's secret lover." Billionaire betrays board for woman in alley. Maya's hand shook as she scrolled. Photos of them painting together, laughing on the rooftop, eating ramen, all leaked, all twisted into scandal. She looked up at him, her voice trembling. It's everywhere. They know. They'll never leave us alone. Elias's jaw tightened. He had feared this moment, but now it was here. The world had found them. The next morning, the boardroom erupted. Investors shouted, lawyers threatened, headlines blared. Vane Industries in crisis. His empire was crumbling under the weight of scandal. Cut ties with her, the chairman demanded. Distance yourself, issue a statement, protect the company. Elias stood at the head of the table, his voice steady. No, gasps filled the room. I won't cut ties. I won't pretend she doesn't matter. If protecting this company means losing her, then I don't want it. You'll lose everything, the chairman warned. Then let me lose it, Elias said. Sell my shares, all of them. By evening, the news spread like wildfire. Billionaire walks away from empire for street artist. Elias Vane resigns. Fortune in free fall. Maya saw the headlines, her heart pounding. She rushed to the rooftop where Elias stood alone, staring at the city. You gave it all up, she whispered. He turned, his eyes weary but resolute. I had to. I couldn't keep living a lie. I couldn't keep choosing money over truth. I chose you. Her voice cracked. You lied once. You destroyed my family. And now you're standing here with nothing, still looking at me like I'm enough. Elias stepped closer, his voice trembling. Because you are. You always were. Maya stayed quiet. The rush of emotions she felt made it so. But this time they weren't just anger. They were confusion, longing, pain. She wanted to scream, to curse him, to walk away. But she couldn't, not yet. The rooftop was quiet, the city humming below, the weight of his sacrifice hanging between them. Maya whispered almost to herself, You're Elias Vane, and you're Eli, and I don't know which one I fell in love with. Elias's hand hovered near hers, not daring to touch. You fell in love with me, and I'll spend the rest of my life proving that's enough. She kept silent, staring into his soul, but walked away right after. Elias felt a little relief, and that was the go-ahead he needed to intensify efforts in regaining her trust and forgiveness. Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat on the rooftop alone, sketchpad abandoned, her mind replaying every word Elias had said. I'm Elias Vane. The name echoed like a curse. The man she had trusted, the man she had loved, was the same one who had signed away her family's future. By morning, the alley was swarmed. Reporters shoved microphones at her, cameras flashed, strangers shouted insults. Gold digger, publicity stunt, fake! Maya shoved past them, heart pounding, retreating into the sanctuary that no longer felt safe. Elias watched from a distance, guilt gnawing at him. He had walked away from his empire, but the world hadn't walked away from him. Every headline screamed betrayal. Every investor demanded answers. He had nothing left but her, and she couldn't even look at him. That evening, he found her on the rooftop, staring at the skyline. Maya, he said softly. She didn't turn. You destroyed my family. You lied to me. And now the whole world thinks I'm nothing but your scandal. His voice cracked. I know, and I can't undo what I did, but I can show you who I am now. Not Elias Vane, the billionaire, just Eli. The man who painted beside you, who spilled ramen, who found peace in your laughter. She spun on him, eyes blazing. Peace? My father lost everything. My mother cried herself to sleep for years, and you call that peace? Elias's throat tightened. I was blind. I thought expansion meant survival. I didn't see the people behind the buildings. I didn't see you. But I see you now, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. Maya's tears spilled, but her voice was steel. You can't buy forgiveness. You can't paint over what you destroyed. He stepped closer, desperate. Then let me earn it. Not with money, not with power, with actions, with truth. She shook her head, backing away. I don't know if I can ever forgive you. The rooftop fell silent, the city humming below. Elias stood frozen, knowing words weren't enough. The next day, the scandal deepened. Paparazzi camped outside Maya's alley. Her murals were vandalized, spray-painted with insults. She tried to paint over them, but the crowd jeered. Elias arrived, hoodie pulled low, and grabbed a brush. He painted beside her, clumsy strokes covering the graffiti. The crowd laughed, mocking him, but he kept painting, sweat dripping, colors bleeding. Maya watched, torn. He looked nothing like the billionaire in headlines. He looked like Eli, stubborn, flawed, human. When the wall was clean again, Elias dropped the brush, breathless. I'll stand here every day if I have to. I'll paint beside you until they see the truth. Maya's chest ached. She wanted to believe him, but the scars of her family's past were deep. That night, Elias faced the press directly. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted. He stood alone, no bodyguards, no board members. I am Elias Vane, he said, voice steady, and I walked away from my empire because I destroyed lives. One of them belonged to the woman I love. I can't undo the past, but I will not hide from it. I will not hide from her. The crowd erupted with questions, but Elias turned and walked away, leaving them stunned. Maya saw the broadcast. Her heart twisted. He hadn't defended himself. He hadn't denied the pain he caused. He had admitted it, raw and unpolished. Later, she found him back on the rooftop, sitting alone, staring at the mural they had painted together. You told the world, she whispered. He nodded. Because hiding is what destroyed me, and I won't hide anymore. Her voice trembled. You gave up everything. You faced them, and you're still here. Elias looked at her, eyes weary but resolute. I'll keep standing here, Maya. Even if you never forgive me, even if you walk away, I'll keep proving that I'm not the man who destroyed your family anymore. I'm Eli, and I'll fight to be worthy of you. Maya's tears burned as they fell, not from sorrow, but from rage. Every look on his face, every word he spoke, pressed against wounds she had fought to keep closed. Confusion tangled with longing, pain wrestled with fury. She wanted to scream until the city heard her, to curse him until he shattered, to walk away and never look back. Her hand gripped the railing, body angled toward the door, but something inside her refused to move. She couldn't leave, not yet. The rooftop was quiet, the city humming below, the weight of his sacrifice hanging between them. Maya whispered, almost to herself, You're Elias Vane, and you're Eli, and I don't know which one I fell in love with. Elias's hand hovered near hers, not daring to touch. You fell in love with me, and I'll spend the rest of my life proving that's enough. She didn't answer, not yet, but she didn't walk away either, and for Elias, that silence was hope. Maya's silence stretched for days. She painted alone, her strokes sharper, angrier, colors bleeding into each other like wounds. Elias kept his distance, watching from the shadows, knowing every attempt to speak might push her further away. Yet he couldn't leave. He had given up everything, his empire, his fortune, his name, and all that remained was her. The scandal refused to die. News vans parked outside the alley, commentators dissected every glance between them, every rumor. Maya's murals were vandalized again, cruel words scrawled across her art. She tried to scrub them away, but the damage lingered. Elias decided words weren't enough. He needed something greater, something that would speak louder than headlines. He vanished for 3 days, leaving Maya confused and furious. She told herself she didn't care, but every time she looked at the rooftop, she wondered if he would return. On the 4th night, she climbed the stairs and froze. The rooftop was transformed. Floodlights illuminated a massive mural stretching across the concrete wall. It wasn't polished, it wasn't perfect. The lines were crooked, the colors uneven, but the image was unmistakable. It was them. Maya and Elias, side by side, painted against the skyline. Her hand guiding his eyes fixed on her, the city glowing behind them. Elias stood nearby, paint still on his hands, exhaustion etched into his face. I know I'm not an artist like you, he said, voice trembling, but this is my truth. I wanted the world to see us the way I do. Not scandal, not lies, just us. Maya's breath caught. She stepped closer, eyes tracing the mural. It was clumsy, imperfect, but it was raw, honest, and full of heart. Tears welled in her eyes. You did this? He nodded. Every stroke, every mistake. Because I needed you to know I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not Elias Vane, the billionaire. I'm Eli, the man who found peace in your laughter. And I'll keep painting, even if the world laughs, until you believe me. Maya's chest ached. She wanted to stay angry, to cling to the betrayal, but the mural broke through her defenses. It wasn't money, it wasn't power, it was vulnerability. She turned to him, tears streaming. You destroyed my family. You lied to me, and yet you gave up everything, and you're still here, painting walls with your bare hands. Elias stepped closer, his voice low. Because you're worth more than everything I lost. You're worth more than the empire I built. You're worth more than my name. Maya's tears spilled freely now. She reached out, touching his paint-stained hand. This doesn't erase the past, but maybe it's the beginning of something new. He swallowed hard, hope flickering in his eyes. Then let me earn it, day by day, stroke by stroke. She leaned into him, her forehead against his. You're impossible. He smiled faintly. And yours. The rooftop glowed under the floodlights, Elias's mural towering behind them. It wasn't perfect, crooked lines, uneven colors, but it was raw, honest, and full of heart. Maya stood in silence, tears streaking her face. She touched the paint with trembling fingers, feeling the weight of his sacrifice. He had given up billions, faced the press, and now stood here with nothing but her. Elias's voice broke the quiet. I can't erase the past. I can't undo what I signed away. But I can choose who I am now, and I choose you. Maya stepped closer, her eyes blazing with hurt and tenderness. You shattered my family, you betrayed me, and now, here you are, stripped of everything, painting these walls with nothing but your hands. He took a shaky breath. Because losing it all doesn't matter. You're worth more than everything I gave up, even my name. She stepped closer, her forehead resting against his. You'll never erase the past, Elias, but maybe, her voice trembled then steadied, maybe together we can paint over it. The word hung in the air, paint, the same act that had brought them together, the same act that had healed the walls of the alley, now became their promise. Elias closed his eyes, relief flooding him. For the first time since collapsing in the street, he felt steady, safe. Maya whispered the word she had once given him, the word that had saved him in the chaos. Safe. The rooftop wasn't just concrete anymore. It was the place where a billionaire became human, and a broken artist found her voice. Their sanctuary. Their forever. On that rooftop, they chose to face the scars instead of running from them. What about you? Would you forgive, or let the past hold you hostage? Share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Fable Manor for more stories where love, betrayal, and redemption collide in unforgettable ways.